At Sandals, your health and safety is our top priority, which is why we created our Platinum Protocol of Cleanliness. Now, you can have the peace of mind of knowing that while you're creating your wedding celebration, we're taking care of the rest. Sandals was built on dreams. Dreams of romantic escapes, endless possibilities, magical moments, and new beginnings. At Sandals, dreams of happily ever after still come true with a free wedding or a fully customizable one. You can feel safe saying "I do" to a wedding beneath a gazebo in a lush tropical garden, or walking down a white sand aisle with an impossibly turquoise sea as your backdrop, or even floating above the sea in an open air over the water chapel. Our venues are found in wide open spaces, nature made for love to blossom. Best of all, even your friends and family who can't travel with you can still be a part of your special day, because Sandals is offering live stream services of your wedding ceremony. And while we've led the industry in health and safety protocols for nearly 40 years, our resorts are even safer and more romantic than ever before, offering you a wedding free of worries and filled with love. That includes reducing the capacity of our venues and putting more physical distance between your guests. Your guests will still have a picture-perfect view of the ceremony, but they'll be seated further apart. At your reception, instead of tables for 8, we'll have the same size tables, but only seat 6 guests per table. And we've eliminated buffets and specialty food stations, so all food will be plated and served by Sandals staff wearing masks. At Sandals, the honeymoon of your dreams begins the moment you say "I do." And we are once again setting a new standard of excellence with our Platinum Protocol of Cleanliness to ensure it's unforgettable and worry-free. With extensive research from local ministries and health officials, the Center for Disease Control and the World Health Organization, we've instituted advanced hygiene practices across 18 touchpoints. A triple check system that includes inspecting, cleaning, and sanitizing hard surfaces and common areas every 20 minutes. Adding auto-dispensing hand sanitizing stations throughout the resort. To ensure the utmost safety, Sandals will be using hospital-grade disinfectants, electrostatic sprayers for advanced cleaning, UV lighting equipment to inspect cleanliness, and air duct sanitization for each room before every guest's arrival. We've gone so far as to steam clean and sanitize carpeting and flooring prior to arrivals, and placing personal hand sanitizers in every guest room. For added safety, all staff members are required to wear protective face gear at all times. And from now on, guests will be able to begin their Sandals experience before even leaving their house. Guests can check in online at home, which lets them bypass the front desk and go directly to their rooms. Stricter physical distancing protocols have also been put in place in every part of the resort. In addition, all of our spa facilities and sports equipment will be sanitized before and after use with hospital-grade disinfectants. We're also committed to providing a dedicated quality inspection team at each resort to ensure strict compliance and implementation of these safety protocols, so that our guests can enjoy a 5-star luxury-included vacation that's 100% worry-free. We can't wait to help make your dreams come true with a destination wedding and honeymoon at Sandals. And while you're creating 1,000 worry-free moments, we'll take care of the rest.
Aloha and good afternoon. My name is Juergen Steinmetz, joining you from livestream.travel in Honolulu, Hawaii. With me is Dr. Peter Tarlow in College Station, Texas. And we always talk about the weather. So I'm really curious, how is the weather in College Station, Texas today, Peter?
It was so today. It was we're going through a rainy period. It's supposed to have, it's not pouring rain, but we're having overcast skies and showers. On the other hand, the temperature is not too bad. It's in the 60s. So in between the liquid sunshine, as my friends in Washington State call it, you can take a nice walk. So I did manage to at least I didn't get 10 miles in today. I only got 6 miles before it started to rain, but that's what I got. So, but it's supposed to be tomorrow morning nice. So I'm going to get up early in the morning and go walking then before the afternoon's rain comes. So we're almost tropical. How is it in Hawaii?
Today is a fairly nice day. It's dry, cloudy a little bit, but cloudy is nice, and really cannot complain.
Yeah.
Looks like it's a normal world, but I guess Corona is floating around everywhere.
Sure.
Other than that, I had lunch today at Ala Moana Shopping Center. As you know, it's the largest shopping center here in Hawaii.
I think in the Pacific, isn't it? In the Pacific region?
In the Pacific, yeah. And people have to learn, you know. I went to the food court. The food court reopened, and there is a dining area in the middle where you have to sign in. You have to give your name and your address and your phone number, what is mandatory here in the county of Honolulu anyway. And then when you sit there and you're done with your food and you're trying to throw it out, there's really no garbage can. It doesn't exist.
Oh.
So I throw it in one of these large garbage containers I saw, and it was full of water, and it was water what was dripping from the ceiling. So that was in the dining hall, and now it has my food in addition to it. So I think everyone is running out of money, including Ala Moana Shopping Center. So hopefully they're going to catch up so they can fix the ceiling and make it more inviting for people to use the.
And I think that's a good segue into some of the problems that people are having, especially the monetary problems. And one of the things we might begin to talk about is there is some talk going on in the world of tourism about, if not in 2021, maybe in 2022, yearly meetings and conventions will come back. Now, there's some questions about it. For example, as you know, I have been working with a tourism security conference. This year would have been year 28. Last year would have been year 20. I'm sorry, 28 would have been last year, and this year 29. We had to cancel it in 2020, not because we didn't want to have it, but because all the hotels in Las Vegas were closed and we couldn't have people sleep on the streets. Now the governor has opened conventions in Las Vegas, but only for 50 people. Well, if you're having an international conference, it's hard to have that for 50 people. And then it's a question of what you buy, how do you get hotel space? A lot of hotels don't really want to just have a 50-person conference, especially in Las Vegas, where the hotels can seat 4,000 or 5,000 people. On the other hand, they may be saying 50 people is better than no people. So the real question is, can we do it in 2021? Probably not. It may have to go to 2022. We're going to plan it for 2021 with the hope that it'll happen. But there's then will be other issues. Government planning will we be in people's budgets? Do governments have money for budgets? If there's lower taxes, there's lower money for that. So all of those are issues that intertwine. And often people, I think of it as just one part of the puzzle. They don't realize that these are systems. And if any one part of the system goes down, then the whole economic system also begins to falter. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens to the hotel, to the meetings convention business. I know you kind of think we may be in a permanent state of Zoomatic conferences.
Yeah, and if you look at a press release today, we published in eTurbo News from the American Hotel and Lodging Association. They really don't think the business travel is going to be back to halfway normal till 2024. And
Yeah.
Considering with 4 million jobs on the line, this is tremendous.
Yes. Yeah, no one quite knows. Of course, I think lots of people are raring to go. It's very hard to do business quite doing business on Zoom is not the same as being in-person business, where you are able to talk to the person, you go out for lunch, you create some form of working together. And those things don't happen when you're online. You have an hour with the other person, and you don't really have the sense of being compatible one with the other. So I think there's really going to be three parts to this. One, it'll be people who want to go for vacation. It may become convention plus vacation, where people want to kind of bind a short conference or short convention, maybe almost workshops, and then taking a few days to rest or whatever. So who knows? It's going to be a really interesting world that's taking place. That's going to really depend, therefore, on how resilient we are. And I know that today, Jamaica spoke about the fact that it developed a satellite resilience center in Kenya. And that's really important news for Africa. So I know that you've been in touch with the Jamaicans dealing with this issue. What do you see? What are you hearing?
Well, it's something I think the Minister of Tourism from Jamaica, who has been working on the Resilience Center that was started at the university in Jamaica.
Of the West Indies.
Of the West Indies in Jamaica.
The University of the West Indies.
Yeah, and so this was in the pipeline. It's good for the resilient movement to become global. The first step was really the cooperation with Malta, and it was the former Prime Minister of Malta was involved. She's now no longer Prime Minister, so I don't know how this cooperation goes. Then they're working on another satellite office in Nepal, and I'm not sure where this stands, but it was announced right before COVID became a big issue. And we don't know if this is now on hold, especially in a country like Jamaica. Money is not growing on trees. So we have to see where this all goes to. But it's a good sign. It's a positive sign. And it's a good thing for Africa also to have this center in Kenya, I believe.
So one of the things we're going to have to come up with is new ways to do creative tourism on a budget. And so before we had budget travel, meaning that the traveler watched his or her budget. Now we're going to have to figure out a way for institutions to create a budget and what they do. And so that's going to be a challenge, because we know that cruise tourism is almost non-existent at the moment, or non-existent. Airlines have tremendous lowering of the number of people who are flying. And even if the airplane is full, it's because there are less flights. So therefore, less flights to the same location fills up the few planes that are going. Though I guess it's good for the environment, because if you don't have a lot of planes in the air, that might have something to do with carbon emissions. On the other hand, we're not getting, lack of tourists means lack of tourist taxes, hotel taxes, restaurant taxes, and that impacts governments and what governments can do or cannot do due to that lack of tax structure. So these are all issues that are going to have to be really thought through. And it seems to me on some level, COVID has done more than just change the world of tourism. It's changed the entire economic structure of the Western world, maybe even also of other parts of the world, but certainly of the Western world.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's always surprises. Like today, I thought it was quite surprising that Qatar Airways is expanding their network, and actually they are now starting service also to Atlanta as another US gateway. And that in the midst of a Corona crisis, brave. And I think many of the carriers in the Middle East always have been brave, but of course they have government money behind. Yes. Specifically, yes. Qatar is owned by the government. Right. But even in other markets, like in Kazakhstan, more of the local roads are coming back right now. And we had a story that Fly Aristan, what is an airline in Kazakhstan, is expanding their network. So there are some promising signs. But then when you look at United Airlines and the tremendous loss
of money
airline had, I think I'm looking it up here right now, but I think it was like billion, an enormous amount. You have $1.4 billion of annual,
Yeah.
you know,
And you
losses.
wonder how long can they
It's
bleed
amazing.
money? And both you and I are 1K on United Airlines. And I'm hoping that we don't lose all our miles. Might be a good time to be spending your miles because, you wonder, will these airlines survive? Will the government have to bail them out? Or will they just let them go by the wayside in the hope that new airlines will come along the way? And also, will some of the classical places that people visited, such as London and Paris and Germany, will people maybe be afraid of going to those places and think, you know what, maybe I'm better off going to Kazakhstan because there are less people and maybe I have less chance of getting sick? I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm wondering, are these opportunities for places that were never major tourism attractions to now find their place in the sun? So
Yeah, it's the niche. We really are now. Everyone has a chance to kind of rebuild their tourism industry from scratch and point out what their advantages are. We're definitely going to have more competition because there are less people getting on an airplane in the next
yes,
few years. So people and destinations that have been spoiled, like also us here in Hawaii, we may not be all that spoiled in the next few years.
you may be very unspoiled.
Yeah,
Or with a different type of person. That's interesting you point that out because I participated in an international conference in Korea about 2 weeks ago, and they're publishing the papers now that were developed. And one of the things the Koreans said to me as like, they thought this was an incredible innovation. They said to me, long haul tourism is probably dead for quite a while. What people need to concentrate on is going to be on local and regional tourism. And I'm thinking, wow, we've been talking about this for since the beginning of COVID, but it just finally got to Korea. But the bottom line is they are now realizing they're going to have to build national local tourism because Korea is a long haul market, except from Japan. They may not have a lot of people flying in from all over the world. And that means if you build these tremendously gorgeous airports, will the airports be empty? And I don't know the answer for that.
Well, and it's definitely a challenge. I mean, when you look at Germany, how many billions are spent for Berlin, the new airport in Berlin, what was a failure for many, many years, not really because of COVID, because of constructional mistakes. And now they finally got it open after all these years, and there's no one flying there.
The flights, yeah. So, and if you notice, Heathrow Airport, which was the largest airport in London, is no longer the largest airport. The largest airport in Europe is now in Istanbul, which is basically because Turkish Airlines is a gateway to some of these places that people normally didn't go to, and so we're seeing a realignment of the world of tourism, and that's kind of an interesting factor. Anything else?
Turkish Airlines, of course, has been working on their network for many years.
Yes,
Turkish
yes.
Airlines, for quite some time, even
Yes.
before COVID, had the largest network of any airline in the world.
And they're an
amazing.
excellent airline, by the way.
They're an excellent airline.
Yes.
The airport in Turkey, if you go into the Star Alliance lounge operated by Turkish
Yeah.
Airlines, I have not seen such a lounge anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So they really spoil you. It's not.
Yeah. I will also tell you, if you go into their lounge in Washington, D.C., I was on a United flight to South Africa, and instead of going to the United lounge, I went to the Turkish Airline lounge, which was 50 times better than the United lounge was giving you peanuts with M&Ms. The Turkish lounge was giving you a full meal. It was spectacular, and you really didn't, even if you paid for it, we were members, obviously, in 1K, but even if you had to pay for the time in it, you could have breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. And they kept changing and coming up with new ideas and new food areas. It was cheaper than eating at a restaurant. So
we have to see if this is all going to be the same after we're done with COVID. But yes, Turkish Airlines in Istanbul, they actually prepare the food right in front of your eyes. You get Turkish coffee made by someone. You can talk to the bakery and the sweets. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But who knows, after we're
Yeah.
done with COVID,
Yeah.
I think everyone is kind of starting from scratch.
So I guess you and I are probably done for the evening, but we'll be back on Monday night again. And, I wish everybody not only a sunshine, but over the weekend, but I hope everyone will have a wonderful weekend. Rest a little bit, stay safe, give a hug to somebody you know, and look forward to seeing you on Monday night.
Yes, and if you wanted to see this or any of our other broadcasts we did and we're doing, please go to livestream.travel. You find our entire archive. There are hundreds and hundreds of sessions already. And also, don't forget, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we have another brainstorming session. It's our second session for the aviation industry with VJ. The last one we did was excellent. You can also find it in archive if you go to livestream.travel. So join us. You can actually be in the live audience and ask questions. And we're going to have we expect to have another really, really good event. Yes, Peter, thank you so much.
All right. Have a great weekend, everyone, and stay safe, stay healthy, and see you on Monday evening, God willing. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.